Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Biokinetic K9 Live. And today we are talking about why you should find your dog's stack. What does this mean? It's an interesting concept. We're talking about, when we talk about stack, it's like, how does your dog stack up his body? How does he hold himself up? But before we get into that, let me just introduce myself. My name is Angela Ahern. I am the owner and founder of the Biokinetic K9. We are all about conditioning and fitness of your dog, especially the sports dog. So let's get cracking into this. What is your dog stack and why must you find it? So if you are around, say hello, give me a heart, a like, a thumbs up, and tell me where you are, where you're from. Always interesting to see who I'm speaking with. So what is a stack? A stack is, like I said, how your dog holds himself up when he stands. So we try to look for a normal position. There are such things as show stacks, and most of the show stacks are where the dog's 4 feet are on the ground, front legs underneath the shoulders, back feet together behind the dog or underneath the dog, and that's their show stance. Of course, the German Shepherd has got a 3-point stack, and that's their show stance, where front legs are underneath the shoulders, the one back leg is pulled a little bit further backwards until that hock is perpendicular to the ground. Perpendicular forms a 90-degree angle where the heel of the foot and the toes form a 90-degree angle to the ground. And then the other leg, hind leg, is generally directly underneath their hips. And they stand in that smart position for their show. Angie, hello! Good morning to you over there. Welcome. So we're just talking about putting our dogs in this stacked stand. When it comes to fitness and conditioning for your dog, it's really important that you know where and how your dog stands in this square stack we talk about, where this 4-point stand. So we're not looking at a 3-point stand at all. Bob, hello, welcome. And why is this important? So now that you know what we are talking about, that stack, it's how your dog stands. How he stands with his back feet, are they perpendicular to the ground? Is that hock and toes, is it forming that 90-degree angle at the ground? And the front legs, is it directly underneath the shoulders, straight down? That's what we're looking for. That's how you're going to find it. Now, why is it important? Well, it helps to highlight quite a few things. And well, we've got a whole group of people here today. Hi, awesome. Are you still in Italy? Are you watching the WSV? All of those things. Thank you for joining. So why is it important? We've got the stack. What is it going to tell us? It really helps us so much. It helps to highlight various issues within the body. So when we talk about the stack and what are the issues it's highlighting is, can the dog stand square, and is your dog standing in a balanced manner? So when we say balance, are they standing correctly with weight equally on both left and right feet? Equally distributed front and back feet? Or are the feet always slightly one forward and one back? All of those things. Is your dog standing absolutely square, feet next to one another? So, and straight down at the underneath the shoulders, and both back hocks right in front of one another, so they are equal, not one more forward than the other, one more forward than the other. Are they completely equal, and are both those back hocks at 90-degree angles? This is quite important. So we are looking at these things in your stack. And what is that there for? It's to highlight any inconsistencies. Because when we see an inconsistency, so both feet are not always together, they are really together. They're more, one is more in front than the other more often than not. The hocks are not perpendicular. The front feet are not directly underneath the shoulders. They're either a little bit more back or they're a little bit more forward. We are looking for those inconsistencies, and sometimes they can be slight, but if this happens with your dog more often than not, then we have to look at things like, is there a possible injury or the start of an injury? There's a niggle somewhere where the dog has just got a slightly offload to one side. It's ever so slight. Or there's a tight muscle somewhere, so they can't really use that muscle because it's a little bit tight. There's a niggle, there's a knot there somewhere. And it causes these imbalances. And these imbalances then cause skewness in the stance or skewness in the body in weight distribution. And so the body then becomes ever so slightly off balance. And you will see it if you ask your dog to stand in this square 4-point stack. So how can you tell now what are we looking for when we are looking at this square stack? So if I can just show you here, let me bring this down and let me put this up so that you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, this is my dog. And this is him just standing normally. He's a German Shepherd and we're asking him to stand. So when we're asking for a stand, we're looking for a nice neutral, flat back. We're not wanting any roaching of the back, just a normal flat back, the dog standing naturally. And we're looking for a nice neutral head, neck, muzzle. Muzzle is parallel to the ground. Top line of the back is nice and flat. So here is my dog. And German Shepherd, he's a little bit angulated. And I'll show you exactly what the stack now looks like, especially for an angulated dog. But this is your stack. So the only thing wrong with this picture when it comes to our 4-point stack is that you can see his back hocks. They are leaning, there's my camera so that you can see, they are standing like this. That's what's happening. So they are not 90 degrees. The hock of the foot to the toes is not standing at 90 degrees. They are more at an angle. So they're coming down and then the foot happens. How can I get him to stand with his hock at 90 degrees? So in the German Shepherd 3-point stand, the one hock normally goes back and they've got to stand at 90 degrees, but the other foot is normally underneath their hips. But for a conditioning or a fitness assessment of that, we want both those feet back. So you can see now for an angulated dog, this will be a little bit more difficult because now they've got to shift their feet back out behind them. That means they've got to use a lot of their core muscles to hold themselves up and to hold them a little bit strong. So if I look at this picture and we go to the next one, let's see what shows. Here, this is a stack for a German Shepherd. So you can see her back feet are 90 degrees and her front legs are straight underneath the shoulder. This is what we are looking for. So you'll see that her front legs, if we look at straight from the side, we can only see 2 legs. So those legs are nicely lined up. They're not one in front of the other. They are nicely lined up. So from this picture, I can see her top line is nice and neutral and flat. Her head and muzzle position is nice and neutral. There's no arching or anything like that. She's standing quite relaxed, but she's got that back leg and hock is perpendicular to the ground and the front legs directly under the shoulders. So this is ideally what we are looking for. And we want to see, can she hold that position? And in order for her to hold that position, all her core must be strong. She must be able to hold and stand there. And this is a real foundational exercise. And it's the start of how you get your dog to be able to perform your strength training movements in a good technique or form. So this is what the first step that we're looking for. Can you get your dog to stand in that stack? And if your dog can stand in that stack easily, naturally, without one foot in front of the other or offloading, then that's a good sign. We can go ahead and we can really start working the dog. The dog's body is in a balanced manner. And then if we go and we look at my German Shepherd that we had on here right at the beginning, the more angulated one, and we work and we get him strong so that he can do that, it's quite possible. So you can see here with his feet a little bit more out so that his hocks are perpendicular to the ground. He's got to really engage that core section, that middle section of his body to push his feet, both feet back out. So the German Shepherds that we see, they've got the one foot underneath the belly, and that helps to hold them up. They don't have to use their core muscles that much. But if you can get your German Shepherd to stand with both feet back out, then those core muscles are really getting nice and strong. And sometimes you have to work to get there. Sometimes it doesn't just happen. You have to work to get your dog to stand at that position. And that working to get them to stand in that stacked position starts to develop their strength, especially within their core, which is the desired result. So if I go back to the original picture of him standing, that is his normal stance. Normal stance for most dogs, and especially if a dog is not strong, they will just keep their feet underneath their hips. Most dogs that are not as angulated as German Shepherds, their feet normally go straight underneath the hips, and that's how they stand. So quite normal for a dog that is more angulated at the back. But when they are strong and they got the muscle to hold themselves, they are able to go into that stacked position. And that is the desirable result. The only thing a little bit out with this picture, and it was just the photograph at the time, is that you'll see is one front leg is slightly more in front of the other one, but otherwise it's fine. So we are looking for that nice square stacked stand when we are looking for any inconsistencies in muscle balance, in muscle tightness. Can they perform this easily and regularly? That's what we're looking for. Then when we look at this stacked stand and how it works for our dogs and how we can get them to hold this position, why is this important? Because it will, in the end, if there is any imbalances, it will highlight a tight muscle, an oncoming injury, or if there is an imbalance through skewness in stance, it will always come up in our sport. So if there are any imbalances or your dog is unable to stand squarely like this, it will affect your sport. Why? Because if your dog can't stand like this and it can't stand in that nice square balance, and now we start to push them in their sport and we start to train them harder, and we training for a trial, for example, and we started putting a lot more work, then those imbalances are going to come out. Angie Falsick, you saying, let me see here, is there a better way to help them get onto this balanced stacked stand? Yes, there is. We show you how exactly within our strength training program. And it's no problem. You'll see in every single photograph there are two boards that the dogs are standing on. And the most important and your bare essential techniques of getting this to get the dogs to shift their back legs to the end where the hocks are, 90 degrees, is just get them to learn to put their feet on a front target and put their back feet on a back target. And then you put it together with back feet on a target and front feet on a target. So where the dogs are really more angulated and they can't do this, you keep those targets right underneath the shoulder and right underneath the hips. And as they start to stand there and hold that stand without shifting around too many times, you start to move that backboard out just ever so slightly, a little bit every week as you're practicing this. Because as you move it out and they know they've got to put their back feet on their target, their back feet are going to have to move out just a little bit. And when I say a little bit, just move that board an inch, 2 centimeters at a time, and work your dog there until those muscles are strong. So that by the end of a week to a week and a half, if you're working on this 3 to 4 times a week and it takes just 2 minutes, then you will get your dog in that nice square stacked stand, and you'll be able to see if there's any balances. If your dog is really struggling and you can't get there, you can either go a little bit slower, give them time, they're learning. This is all new for them. If you've never done this before, keep it fun, keep it light, because you're the only person that's worrying. The dog doesn't know. Keep it light, keep it fun. Get their feet on the target. Get their back feet on the target. Get both feet on the target. And then start to move those targets a little bit further apart, just until you get those front legs straight down underneath the shoulder and the back legs perpendicular. No further for now. That's all that you're looking for. That would be your starting point. If you want to know a little bit more about how to get there and get a demonstration video, then just go to our strength training program. It is closed for right now because our program is full and we're working with students on this at the moment. But if you want to learn just about this part, then just sign up and go onto our waiting list and you'll get access to this video on how we did it. And that's all. But the nice thing about this, awesome question, Angie, thank you for forcing me to explain what's going on. Thank you so much. The nice thing about this is that it will help with your sport. Oh, what are you saying? Let me see here. I've noticed Ziva's head cock slightly to one side when she is in a balance stand yesterday, which was great information for me. Yes. So when you notice these things, you are getting feedback. You are getting direction on what you can look for. If the head is cocking to one side all the time, is there a little bit of stiffness on one side? Is there a little bit of weight shift also either in the shoulders or in the back legs? Is it running through the neck, down the spine, or is it just stopping just by the neck? Or is she just curious because you are always holding the cookie in one hand? Sometimes it is a handler area where you're always holding the cookie in one hand and the dog goes, oh, there's a cookie, just give it to me. Yeah, there we go. Or is it because she's just a little bit off? And, you know, when we wake up sometimes and we've got a crick in the neck, we've got to make these things. It's information. Regardless of why it's happening, it's information, and it's information that you can use. That's awesome what you're saying. Yes. So then you're saying Ziva is better in getting into this position than Bocelli. Well, exactly. Just like these two pictures, this dog in this picture, it was much easier for her to get into this position than it was for this guy. For him, it took a little bit longer because of that angulation, and he had to get his core a little bit stronger. So you can see for when he stands with his back hocks at 90 degrees, it is a lot further. His back legs are pushed a lot further from his body than the sable dog. So for him to push his legs out to the back like that, it's like the same as us humans having to do a plank. And when I started doing a plank, by the time it was 10 seconds, oh my word, even my fingers were shaking just to hold that position. And you know, for us humans to do a plank, and we're on our elbows and our feet are stretched out at the back of us. And it's easier if our feet are wide, but if our feet are narrow, it's even more difficult. And you're holding it and your whole body shaking. We've got to hold all of our back muscles strong. We've got to really suck up our core. We've got to make our butt really tight. So the only thing that you think is being sexy is that you're holding your bum tight, but your whole body is shaking as you holding that position. It is more difficult to do, just like it is more difficult for a more angulated dog, if they don't have the strength to do it, to put their back legs out like this in this square four-pointed stand. You're getting onto the wait list. Oh, awesome. I'll put in the link after this now, and then you can just click on, if you go on, you will learn all about the strength program, and you can go on to waitlist. You'll immediately go there, sign up for the waitlist, and on that sign up, as soon as you confirm your sign up, you will get this access to the video on how to get your dog to stand in this position. And then as soon as that program opens up again, it'll be opening up in January next year, then we will contact you and you are most welcome to hop on board. Awesome. Oh, don't worry about missing the sign up, Angie. It'll be there again. So it's a nice program. We've got good exercises for getting your dog stronger, and we go through the exercises and we explain why those exercises are important, and we relate it to your sport and what's happening in the dog's body and how those muscles are working. So sign up, go on to the waitlist. We're going to be running it again next year after January, and there you have access to it for a full year, I think, at the moment. But as we're going along, I'll be adding to it. If we add anything to it, you guys will be the first to know, and you'll always be updated with the program. So this is how this knowledge of this stand affects your sport. Simple. If your dog is not standing skew, not standing straight, if there is some skewness and it's a bit of a regular thing, and it's not because you're holding your treat skew when you ask them to stand, then look for imbalances. It's just like Angie said, it's giving you information about your dog. Investigate. Is it you and how you are rewarding, or is it the dog? Did they wake up skew? Did they pull a muscle ever so slightly, is one of their foot pads sore. It could be just a foot pad that is maybe a little bit scared that they can't put full placement. But any which way, you will investigate and you will know more about your dog's body and what's going on, so that you know how far you can push in your training for your sport. If you need to just fall back a little bit and sort out maybe an injured foot pad or a tight muscle that needs to be massaged out, or your dog just really needs to rest, then do those things and get back to your training. But just this normal stack stand of your dog is going to give you a huge amount of feedback as to how your dog's body is doing. Especially if you're training and there's something happening in the training and you're not too sure what's going on. Why is my dog doing like this? Why is he being lazy? Why isn't he turning properly? Why are the left turns always an issue? Why is the jump always an issue? What's going on? Many times, getting to this position, if your dog's not able to hold this position for 30 seconds to a minute, then it can tell you something quite interesting that you can address, and maybe something really small that's not a problem yet, but that you can address and then carry on training with your dog. That's what we want to get out of this. We want to get information from our dog. And if your dog is standing there nice and strong and he's doing the do, then you walk away this huge big smile on your face and you can go happily train your dog. So that's the information you get from just finding your dog's stack. Get your dog to stand nice and squarely, know the rules of the game, and if you want to learn a bit more about how to get to this position, sign up for our wait list. I should have mentioned that earlier. Sign up for our wait list and you can get access just to a quick video on how to get your dog into a square stand position that can tell you an awesome amount of information. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm trusting that you're going to have an excellent training weekend. The weather is getting warm here. It's getting colder elsewhere. Sometimes the colder weather gives the dogs a little bit more energy. This side, no, it's getting a little bit too warm. So I'm going to say, have an awesome training weekend. Hug your dogs for me. And I've seen that some of the people that are in our program, they're sending me their videos. They're doing such an awesome job. Cheryl, Vanessa, you guys are really doing awesome work with your dogs, and some nice dogs, really nice dogs on this program. So Angie, you are welcome. I'm so glad you enjoyed the information. That's it for me. Have an awesome weekend. Let me put up my information, and then please just note in the comments, I'm going to put up that link for the strength program. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, if you want to learn just about how to get your dog in a stack stand, get onto our wait list and we will take you to a stronger dog. So have a real, Evan, it is my pleasure. We have a really wonderful weekend. Let me get you my information up here. Let me just do this quickly. There it is. Okay, guys, have a very awesome weekend, and I am going to say cheers. Remember, you can email me if you want anything in particular. If you want to learn a little bit more, get in contact with me. I'm happy to answer any questions and to help you out with your dogs. Cheers now. Bye-bye.